1982 was one of those years that forever changed the sound of a generation. Rock, pop, and new wave conquered the charts with songs that were impossible to forget. But which song best represented each month? Today we will travel through that glorious year, from January to December. And get ready, because some of these songs might bring back memories and give you chills all over again. Let's begin. January, Physical by Olivia Newton-John. Before becoming a symbol of the 80s, Physical began as a provocative idea. Steve Kipner and Terry Shattuck wanted to write about the physical side of love rather than the romantic one. They finished it in 2 days and thought Rod Stewart could perform it. The demo, Let's Get Physical, eventually reached Olivia Newton-John. She was captivated by the melody and recorded it with John Farrar. But when she listened to it, she understood the double meaning of the lyrics and felt she had gone too far. She even wanted to stop its release, although it was already too late. To soften the daring content, Olivia came up with the brilliant idea of setting the music video in a gym. She appeared surrounded by weights, aerobics, and headbands. The concept turned a suggestive song into a visual phenomenon, and that image into a symbol of the decade. Physical reached #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and remained there for 10 consecutive weeks. It topped the first 3 charts of January 1982 and ended the year as its most successful song. It was Olivia's biggest hit, and it all began with a song she herself had wanted to stop. February, Centerfold by the Geils Band. Before becoming the Geils Band's biggest hit, Centerfold grew out of a funny and uncomfortable story. Seth Justman imagined a man discovering that the girl he had been in love with at school had appeared in an adult magazine. That is where its mix of nostalgia, surprise, and disappointment came from. Seth Justman wrote the song and also handled the production, but its sound was very different from the band's usual blues rock style. The keyboards, hand claps, and playful chorus brought them much closer to pop. Despite their doubts, they decided to take the risk and recorded the track. The music video was directed by Paul Justman, the songwriter's brother. With a classroom, school uniforms, and scenes filled with humor, he turned the story into an unforgettable visual. Through its appearance on MTV, the band managed to win over a new generation. In February 1982, Centerfold reached #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, just 1 week after Physical was knocked from the top spot. It remained there for 6 consecutive weeks and became the Geils Band's only #1 hit and the biggest success of their career. March, I Love Rock and Roll by Joan, Jett, and the Blackhearts. Joan Jett discovered I Love Rock and Roll during a tour of England with the Runaways. One night, she saw the Arrows perform it on television and felt that the song had to be hers. But when she suggested it to the band, they rejected it. After the Runaways broke up, Joan recorded an early version with Steve Jones and Paul Cook of the Sex Pistols, but it went almost unnoticed. Sometime later, producer Kenny Laguna decided to try again. By then, Joan was already backed by the Blackhearts. Together, they recorded a direct, hard-hitting version with gritty guitars, hand claps, and a voice that was impossible to ignore. The lyrics tell a simple story. A woman sees a young man standing beside a jukebox and decides to win him over. But in Joan's voice, that story became a declaration of freedom and absolute love for rock and roll. On March 20th, 1982, I Love Rock and Roll reached #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and knocked Centerfold from the top spot. It remained there for 7 weeks and became Joan Jett's biggest hit. Ironically, the song the Runaways had rejected ended up becoming one of rock's greatest anthems. If these songs were also the soundtrack of your youth, hit like and subscribe to Rock Vault Rewind so you never miss any of our classic rock documentaries. Let's continue. April. We Got the Beat by the Go-Go's. The story began while Charlotte Caffey was listening to Motown and watching a marathon of The Twilight Zone. Suddenly, an infectious rhythm came to her. That was how We Got the Beat was born. But after finishing it, she felt it was too pop and feared that the Go-Go's would reject it. The first version was released in England through Stiff Records, although it went almost unnoticed. Sometime later, the band decided to record it again for Beauty and the Beat. Richard Goderer and Rob Freeman took charge. After several attempts, they took a break to eat pizza, and the next take became the final one. Gina Schock's drumming was one of the song's key elements. Her fast, steady beat gave the track an energy that kept moving forward without stopping. Then came Belinda Carlisle's bright and carefree voice, turning that rhythm into a direct, joyful chorus that was impossible to ignore. In April 1982, We Got the Beat reached number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 and remained there for 3 weeks, held back by I Love Rock and Roll. Interestingly, although the song stopped at number 2, the album did reach the top. May, Don't Talk to Strangers by Rick Springfield. Did you know that Don't Talk to Strangers was born out of Rick Springfield's jealousy? While he was traveling, he feared that his girlfriend, Barbara Porter, might be with another man. Rick later acknowledged the irony. He distrusted her because he himself had not been faithful either. Why don't you tell me someone is loving? The melody was not new. Springfield had used it years earlier in a song called Spanish Eyes, but he decided to bring it back and write different lyrics. In doing so, he turned an old composition into the plea of a man trying to keep his partner from talking to strangers. The production was handled by Keith Olsen, who strengthened the guitars and chorus to give it a direct and catchy sound. Although it seemed like a simple warning, the lyrics concealed Rick's fear of losing the woman who would later become his wife. On May 22, 1982, Don't Talk to Strangers reached number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 and remained there for 4 weeks, held back by We Got the Beat. It was Rick Springfield's second biggest hit in the United States. Ironically, a song born out of distrust ended up accompanying a relationship that stood the test of time. June, Rosanna by Toto. Despite sounding elegant and perfectly calculated, Rosanna arrived at a time when Toto needed to prove that it could still create a major hit. David Paich brought in the nearly finished song and played it on his piano. When they heard it, the band knew they had something special on their hands. The story took shape when Steve Porcaro arrived with actress Rosanna Arquette. Her name fit the melody, and Paich decided to use it. However, the lyrics were not only about her, but about several women and romantic memories brought together in a single character. During the recording, Jeff Porcaro created that drum groove by combining the power of John Bonham with the so-called Purdy Shuffle. Steve Lukather improvised the guitar solo, and the band finished shaping the song. That combination of precision and emotion became their secret weapon. The record label chose it as the first single. The gamble paid off. On June 26, 1982, Rosanna reached number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 and remained there for 5 consecutive weeks, held back first by Don't You Want Me and then by Eye of the Tiger. It also won 4 Grammy Awards and brought Toto back to the center of the global music scene. It proved that a band of virtuoso musicians could also win over a mainstream audience. July, Don't You Want Me by the Human League. Great pop songs often hide stories that are more tense than they seem. Don't You Want Me was born when Philip Oakey read a photo story in a teen magazine. From there came the idea of telling a breakup from 2 points of view. You were working as a waitress in a cocktail bar. The music began with a melody by Philip Adrian Wright. Joe Callis gave it a danceable rhythm, but the chorus was still missing. Producer Martin Rushent sent Philip Oakey into another room and told him not to come back until he had found it. 2 hours later, he returned with the unforgettable phrase. Philip Oakey thought it was too soft and did not want to release it as a single. The record label insisted. The gamble paid off. Susan Ann Sully played the woman who rejects the man, claiming that he had turned her into a star. That contrast between irresistible music and an argument filled with pride became its secret weapon. Working as a waitress in a cocktail bar. On July 3, 1982, Don't You Want Me reached #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and remained there for 3 weeks. It was the Human League's first #1 hit in the United States. In the end, the song Philip Oakey considered weak ended up conquering America. Don't you want me, baby? August, Eye of the Tiger by Survivor. The Rocky movies had always searched for a song powerful enough to match the boxer himself. For Rocky III, Sylvester Stallone wanted to use Queen's Another One Bites the Dust, but he could not secure the rights. Then he heard Survivor's Poor Man's Son and decided to entrust them with this demanding mission. Rising up, back on the street. The idea worked. Shortly afterward, Sylvester Stallone sent a cut of the movie to Jim Peterick and Frankie Sullivan. As they watched Rocky train, they built a riff that followed the rhythm of every punch and shaped a song that was impossible to ignore. Jim Peterick and Frankie Sullivan wrote the lyrics with a man in mind who had to regain his strength after reaching the top. When they heard Apollo Creed say that Rocky needed to get back the eye of the tiger, they found the title. Dave Bickler provided the vocals, and the result became part of Rocky III. Eye of the Tiger reached #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 on July 24, 1982, and remained there for 6 weeks, dominating August. It won a Grammy and received nominations for an Academy Award and a Golden Globe. In the end, a song created for Rocky's comeback gave Survivor the only #1 hit of their career in the United States. September, Abracadabra by Steve Miller Band. Steve Miller found the inspiration for Abracadabra in an unexpected place, a ski slope in Sun Valley. There, he saw Diana Ross and remembered that they had both appeared years earlier on the television show Hullabaloo. That image stayed in his mind, and when he returned home, he wrote the song in just 15 minutes. I wanna reach out and grab you. The lyrics described an attraction so intense that it felt like a spell. Steve Miller and Gary Malaber combined the hypnotic chorus, the guitar riff, the synthesizers, and an electronic rhythm that brought the band fully into the sound of the 80s. However, Capitol Records did not believe it had a hit on its hands and initially refused to release it as a single in the United States. The song began to succeed in Europe, and the public's response forced the company to reconsider its decision. Every time you call my name. Abracadabra reached #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 on September 4, 1982, and held the top spot for 2 non-consecutive weeks. It was Steve Miller Band's third and final #1 hit in the United States. Ironically, the song their record label had underestimated ended up becoming one of Steve Miller Band's biggest worldwide hits. Abracadabra. October, Jack and Diane by John Cougar. Jack and Diane. Few songs capture the fear of growing up better than Jack and Diane. John Mellencamp imagined 2 teenagers in love in a small American town. In the first version, Jack was black and Diane was white. but the record label asked him to change the stories to make it more commercially appealing.
Sucking on chili dog, outside taste free.
The recording turned out to be more difficult than expected. The song worked when John Mellencamp played it alone with his guitar, but the band could not find an arrangement that preserved that simplicity. After several attempts, he began to think it should not be included on the album.
Diane sitting on Jackie's lap, got his hands between her knees.
In one final effort, producer Don Gaiman stripped down the arrangement and used a drum machine to organize its shifts in intensity. Then Mick Ronson, who had worked with David Bowie, suggested adding the backing vocals over the instrumental break. That combination finally gave the song the strength it was missing. Jack and Diane reached #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 on October 2nd, 1982, and remained there for 4 weeks. Interestingly, the song that nearly got left off the album ended up becoming the only #1 hit of John Mellencamp's career in the United States.
About Jack and Diane, two American kids.
November. Who Can It Be Now by Men at Work.
Who can it be now?
Not many people know this, but Who Can It Be Now was born from a real situation. Colin Hay lived in an apartment in Melbourne next to neighbors who sold drugs. Their customers confused the doors and knocked on his in the middle of the night. That annoyance inspired the question that became the song's title.
Who can it be knocking at my door?
Although the rhythm sounded light, the lyrics portrayed an isolated and nervous man who did not want to see anyone. Colin Hay poured his doubts about the future into the song, along with his fear of failing to meet the expectations of the music industry. In addition to Colin Hay's voice, there was another crucial detail. Producer Peter McKeon took the saxophone melody and decided to place it at the beginning. Greg Ham performed the solo during a rehearsal, and that first take was so powerful that it ended up in the final version. Who Can It Be Now reached #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 on October 30th, 1982, and remained there for 1 week. It was Men at Work's first #1 hit in the United States, and opened November by confirming their arrival in the American market. Ironically, a song about hiding from strangers ended up introducing the band to millions of listeners. December. Maneater by Daryl Hall and John Oates. Not every song that seems to be about a woman tells a love story. Maneater began when John Oates created a reggae-style chorus. When Daryl Hall heard it, he realized the idea was good, but felt it needed a darker and more intense sound. Daryl Hall changed the rhythm to a pulse inspired by Motown and, together with John Oates, finished building the song. Then they played it for Sarah Allen, who suggested removing the words at the end of the chorus and leaving only the phrase, "She's a man-eater." That small change made the chorus impossible to forget.
Oh, here she comes. She's a man-eater.
Although the lyrics seemed to describe a dangerous woman, John Oates explained that they were about something much bigger: the ambition, greed, and excesses of New York during the 80s. The image of the man-eater turned that criticism into a story anyone could understand.
Oh, here she comes. She's a man-eater. Oh,
Man-Eater reached #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 on December 18th, 1982, and remained there for 4 weeks. It was the duo's longest-running hit at the top of the American chart. Ironically, a song about a city capable of devouring everything ended up conquering the entire world.
here she comes. Watch out, boy. Watch out.
And just like that, 1982 gave us 12 months filled with unforgettable songs, from Olivia Newton-John to Daryl Hall and John Oates. But the journey does not end here. I'm leaving you with 2 more videos so you can keep reliving the greatest anthems and stories in rock. See you there, my fellow rock friend.